McCowan, who couldn't finish, behind the back again for Clark. Give her another assist in transition. Woo!
Have you ever seen a rookie break a historic record and still have their team lose the game? Imagine this, 19 assists in a single game. 19! Clark not only broke the WNBA history record as a rookie, but she also made it look easy. She was inspired, distributing incredible passes, leaving the Wings defense completely lost. But here's the crazy part, despite this amazing performance, the Fever still lost the game. Yeah, my friends, I'm just as shocked as you. And that's why you should subscribe to the channel, because we have a lot to talk about today. Guys, let's start seriously discussing what Caitlin did in this game. From the beginning, she showed she was on fire. Right from the first plays, Clark made a move that left everyone in awe. She began by distributing magical passes, including one to Aaliyah Boston, and it didn't stop there. With every play, Clark showed why she is special. Her passes were so precise that it seemed like she had eyes in the back of her head. She saw angles no one else could. You know those moments when you think, there's no way she can pass the ball from here? Well, Clark did it, and it wasn't just about talent, it was her game sense. She knew exactly where each teammate would be before they even got there. At the end of the first half, Clark had already accumulated 14 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds. I thought she was going to surpass her record of 13 assists, but 19. Not even in my wildest dreams did I imagine that. And besides the historic 19 assists, she also scored 24 points. That's right, 24 points with a 52.6% field goal percentage. And it doesn't stop there. She also grabbed 6 rebounds. All this in 40 minutes of play, meaning Clark played the entire game without a break. The most impressive thing is how she adapted during the game. When she realized that some teammates weren't taking advantage of her passes, like in Hull's play I mentioned earlier, Clark started taking more individual plays, and it worked. She hit 10 of 19 field goals, but what left me most amazed was how she raised her level in the second half. Remember I mentioned the 8 assists in the first half? Well, in the second half, she made 11 more. It was like she went into Goddess of Basketball mode, and these weren't simple passes either. There was this particular pass to NaLyssa Smith that was just insane. Clark got the ball and crossed the court, faked a shot, the defense fell for it, and she made a behind-the-back pass that landed perfectly in NaLyssa's hands under the basket. I almost fell out of my chair watching that play. I've been following Clark since the beginning, and I can say this was the most complete game I've seen her play in the WNBA. She was literally doing everything on the court, scoring, distributing the game, grabbing rebounds. It was a performance for the history books. Now folks, here's where it gets crazy. Even with all this epic performance from Clark, the Fever still lost the game. I know, I can't believe it either. The final score was 101-93 for the Dallas Wings. How is that possible? Let's look at the game numbers to understand better. The Fever did well in some areas. They dominated points in the paint, scoring 62 against 50 from the Wings. Clark wasn't alone either. Aaliyah Boston had a great game with 28 points and 8 rebounds. NaLyssa Smith grabbed 12 rebounds. But here's the problem, turnovers. The Fever committed 17 turnovers against just 10 from the Wings, and the Wings capitalized on that, scoring 28 points off those turnovers, while the Fever only managed 17. That's an 11-point difference right there in a game that ended with an 8-point difference. Another factor was the bench. The Fever's bench only managed to score 12 points, while the Wings bench scored 15. It may seem small, but in a tight game, every point counts, and you can't ignore the defense. Even with Clark distributing the game brilliantly, the Wings offense was more consistent. They had an advantage in fast break points, 22 against 14 from the Fever. It's heartbreaking to see a historic performance like Clark's end in a loss, but it shows that basketball is a team sport. No matter how incredible one player is, the whole team needs to be in sync to win. And all this brings us to talk about Coach Christy Sides. Look, it's hard to defend her after this game. How do you have a player making history on the court and still lose the game? The All-Star break and the Olympics couldn't come at a better time. It's the perfect chance for the Fever's management to sit down and seriously rethink the team's future. And I'm not the only one thinking this. Social media is on fire. Fans are demanding changes, and rightfully so. The problem is you can't blame Sides alone for the turnovers or defensive mistakes, but it's her job to prepare the team to avoid these mistakes, right? And more importantly, it's her job to create a system that better utilizes Clark's incredible talent. Another thing that bothers me, why did Clark play all 40 minutes? Don't get me wrong, she played amazingly, but that's not sustainable in the long run. A team needs a system where other players can step up too. I'm really curious to see what will happen during this break. Will we see changes in the coaching staff, or maybe some trades in the roster? One thing is certain, if the Fever wants any chance this season, something needs to change, and fast. What worries me most is that if these losses continue, even with Clark playing at this insane level, it could affect her and the team's morale, and we can't let that happen. Clark is a generational talent, and the Fever needs to do everything they can to support her. And speaking of talent, we need to talk about the Rookie of the Year award. After this game, I don't see how Caitlin Clark doesn't take that trophy home. Seriously, who is going to compete with her? Okay, I know some people are talking about Angel Reese. Reese is good, I'm not taking credit away from her, but let's be honest, what Clark is doing is out of this world. She's not just playing well for a rookie, she's playing well for any player in the league, and it's not just about numbers, it's the impact she has on the game. Clark has completely changed the face of the Fever. The team may not be winning as much as we'd like, but they're competitive in every game, and that's thanks to her. Another thing that counts a lot for the Rookie of the Year award is consistency, and Clark is killing it there. It's been a while since she's had a bad game. Even when she's not hitting shots, she's creating for the team, grabbing rebounds, doing everything. And let's talk about this 19 assist game again. That was a WNBA history record being broken as a rookie. Clark is breaking records we didn't even know existed. Look, I have a lot of respect for Angel Reese and the other rookies. They're all playing very well, but after this game, it became clear to me, Caitlin is the Rookie of the Year. There's no discussion. If she keeps playing like this, we're witnessing the start of one of the greatest careers in WNBA history. And the craziest part is that we know she can still get better. Imagine when she has more experience in the league, knows the defense is better. The sky's the limit for Clark, and I can't wait to see what's next. But guys, despite all the hype around Clark, there's a question that won't go away. How long will the Fever keep losing, even with her playing at this insane level? Seriously, this is worrying me, and there's more. How long until the Fever's management takes drastic action? Will they wait until the end of the season to make changes, or will we see a coaching change in the middle of the season? What makes me most anxious is thinking about the impact these losses could have on Clark in the long run. She's young, at the start of her career, full of energy and drive, but what if this cycle of losses continues? Will she get frustrated? And there's the fan side too. The Fever fans are excited about Clark, but how long will that excitement last if the results don't come? We know how the sports world is. Patience has limits. The clock is ticking, guys. The Fever needs to find a solution, and fast, because having a talent like Caitlin Clark and not being able to turn that into wins, it's almost a crime against basketball. That's why I want to know your opinion. What do you think the Fever needs to do to better utilize Clark's talent? Is it time for a coaching change? Or maybe bringing in more pieces to complement her game? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your opinion is super important to us, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps the channel grow and bring more content to you. Thanks guys. See you in the next video.